I've just bought this lathe, and it's one of the things I've wanted for a very long time. I'm just going to take you around it because there's not much on the internet about this type of lathe. Right now there's no drive to here, so what I'm trying to achieve is to get this up and running as a working lathe. On this side, so this is where the drive is supposed to go, but this fan belt doesn't fit on any of these pulleys here, so what I'm going to do is try and mount the engine up here somewhere. So I won't use this. Here's the motor, and the motor works nicely. So what I'm going to do is mount the motor up here somewhere. So I'll describe the idea that I've got in a moment on the board. In addition to that, you'll notice that this set of pulleys here are in the way if I want to do that. So what I'm going to do is take this off and then use the belt itself so I can mount the motor above in that sort of position now. So here's a schematic of the lathe itself. So there's the end where the spindle is, this is the end where the chuck is, and at the moment the red band is the drive that will go to the chuck. So the idea that I've got is I'm going to mount the motor directly above the chuck. That will give it direct drive, and there'll be no loss of any power through any other gearing. So that's where the motor will sit. So the motor is going to sit on a platform, and the platform is going to be supported by two legs on one side. Those two legs go down and be supported by the table with a couple of right angle brackets. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to have a single leg which is going to have some adjustment on it, which will enable me to raise and lower one side of the platform. I'll just draw an end elevation to show you what I mean. So here's the chuck, here's the spindle for the motor, the platform underneath, and the red is the drive belt. Now as you can see, I'll need to tension the drive belt. So this side is going to be attached straight to the table. This side will have some adjustment at the bottom. So the way I'm going to achieve that is I'll just expand it. So there'll be a strut and a nut and bolt on the bottom. The nuts will be placed there. That will go through the table. And by turning that nut, it will enable us to raise and lower this support. So as you can see here, if I raise the support here, that will put tension onto the drive belt there. Okay, so that's the idea that I've got. At the moment, the drive belt is being impeded by this cog arrangement here. So if you recall, it doesn't seem to have any function, so I'm going to remove it. So I can see if I undo this, that should come off there, and I've got a screw there and a screw there. If I undo them, I should be able to remove the center spindle. Obviously I'm going to keep all of that, because if I sell it on I need to have it all in one piece. Here's the motor mounted on the wooden platform. So I've decided to put some brackets on here to give it a bit more stability. I've got 2 pieces of wood which I've measured. Now I'm not going to cut the wood because I want to use the wood after this. So I'm just going to screw it on here. Okay, here's the brackets, just placing them on now. And now I'm just going to offer it up to the machine and then put the 3rd leg on, which will have the adjustment. So here's the concept then. So this upright is attached to the platform, and the tension is gained by pushing the lever in, which will then tension this. So I've already done that. Let's see if it works. Okay, so the concept is fine. What I'm going to do now is turn it into metal, weld all the joints and make it a lot more stable. I think what I'm going to do is put 2 uprights here instead of the 1. Here's the finished welded support. So 2 uprights this side, and I've drilled through here and here, and they will allow it to be bolted to this joint here, and a similar one down here. I think it's that one. There's the motor. So the motor itself, the bolts are quite close to the housing of the inner workings of the motor, and what I found was when I welded the angle iron together, when it was across here, I couldn't get to the bolts, so I've shaved it down into a little saddle, both sides, and now it works just fine. I'll show you the other side in a moment. So I'll just put this together and show you. So here's the other side, and what I've done is I've welded a couple of brackets here, and this will allow me to push the top of this upright in there. And as you can see, if I screw, or if I turn this nut, the whole thing will rise, and that will allow tension to come on to the pulley itself. And at the bottom, and at the bottom I've got a bolt goes through there, so the whole thing looks like that. And I've got another one. Okay, same again on this side. There's the bracket, put the upright through there, line it up with the hole there, in goes the bolt, and again this rises in tandem with that, and that gives us the tension that we need. So 2 more bolts to go in, one in there, one in there, and as you can see there's where I needed to shave the angle iron so that I could get in there to tighten the bolts. So just to summarise then, I've got the 2 uprights this side, 2 pieces of angle iron at the bottom as brackets. At the top I've got a threaded bolt. The nut is wound in order to apply tension on the drive belt, and the two of them work together. So in the cradle, shave down here so that I can get to the nuts either side of the motor and tighten that down.